welcome to Sales Talk with CRM, a series wherein we interview sales leaders from different walks of life and get to know about their professional journey. I am Shubhankar, your host, and today we have with us none other than Mr. Srinivasan Iyengar, a man who does not need any introduction because Srinivasan sir has been active in the sales industry for the past 3 decades, starting as a service engineer in Ace Gas Analyzers and today to being the director of SVAN Analytical Instruments Pvt. Limited. You have come a really long way. I am really honored to have you as with, and it's our pleasure to have shared your experience with our audiences. So shall we start?
Yeah, sure.
Srinivas sir, I would like to start to talk, with your initial journey. While researching for this interview beforehand, I found that you are an engineer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is this perception that engineers can't be great sales professionals, but seems like you have broken the notion completely by excelling in sales for 30 years. Now, how did that sales happen, sir?
Yeah, as you rightly said, it is just a perception. So it is not the reality. So I landed up in Mumbai in 1989, even without having a pair of shoes, because I did my diploma in electronics and I had an education loan from Canara Bank. So whatever job came on the way, I just took it up initially in 1989 with a company which was manufacturing these lenses. And I used to do coating, anti-reflection coating of these lenses in that machine. Since I had an education loan, that was my priority to meet my financial needs. So I used to do a lot of overtime. So 8 hours duty and 4 hours overtime. And I was just making some money and making sure that I was able to repay the loans initially. So from up to 90 and a half, I was with that company. Then I started my real journey with Ace Gas Analyzers as a service engineer. Yes. In those days, getting job was, a very difficult thing. And we used to apply and we say no reply. We used to buy the Times of India, going for a walking interview and things like that. So whatever I got, I took that opportunity. I worked as a service engineer and I was doing great. And my boss called me once and told me that you have to go to Hindustan Petroleum and give a demonstration of the gas analyzer. Oh. So I was a little worried about sales. So, but then however he pushed me that you can do it, you are more than able to do it. And I went with our sales engineer and I was able to demonstrate very nicely. Right. And we picked up 3 orders from them.
Oh, wow.
So that was a big motivation for me. And our sales guy told that, you are the main person due to which we got this order. So the encouragement kept me, a little bit flavor to go into sales. But then over a period of time, my boss pushed me into sales. And one thing that I told him that I don't want target. I am afraid of that. I couldn't do this and that. He said, only do what you can do best. And his name is Mr. Abhinav Shah. And still we have a good relationship with him. He come to my office also sometimes. So that's how I entered from service into sales. Right. Because our sales is not the over-the-counter sales. It is B2B. So B2B. Again, a lot of technical skills are involved. And since I am from the service background, and it was easy for me to, convince the customer, meet the customer's requirements. This is how initially I started into sales.
Yes. That's amazing how you have come from, a service engineer now to the director and sales.
Yeah, then again in the next company also, I was from doing all the sales of different instruments. I was put into a product manager post, wherein I have to sell only one particular product. Okay. So there again, I was afraid, how am I going to meet the financial goals if I have to sell only one product? But then that director also was kind enough to motivate me and made me perform a lot. And I did very good in that. And that's how I succeeded into a product manager post also. And then the next journey was I came because of a lot of traveling jobs. Our frequency of travel was very quick. Every week I need to travel because I was handling pan India. So then over a period of time, I got an exposure to pan India sales, all kind of different cultures, different states with different languages. So that really motivated me and also gave me an interest to work as a country manager.
Okay.
When I was interviewed in United Phosphorus Limited, which is a 5,000 crore company.
Yes, I've heard about it.
Gas analyzer division. So they also asked me a few questions like why you didn't do any MBA or why you didn't do any masters and things like that. But then I was telling them the same thing, that I have a travel job where I don't get a specific time to go and do these things. Right. And I was more interested in performance and learning the skills and learning the product, because it is a technical product. So I was more into that, and I didn't get time to do that. Otherwise, I would have done it. But they were very much happy, and they appointed me based on my technical skills. And I did perform there very nicely there. And then I got an offer from a competitor of ours. And they invited me to join the business.
Okay, wow.
So initially I was reluctant because selling a competitive product in the market. But then they gave me the other products which are not competitive to my old company.
Right. Okay.
And that's how I ventured into business. And since I was working for so many years, I didn't have much money to invest. So all I did was 3 months salary, which I mortgaged for the shares. So 3 months salary was my investment in this company way back in 2008. And now we are close to 30 crores. And by God's grace, we are doing good.
That just, seems amazing when a person like you come from outside. You just invest 3 months of your salary, and now today 30 crores, which is something, unimaginable. That is amazing from how you've come, like you said, gas analyzer, you were a service engineer, today you're the director, So I just wanted to ask you the transition from being an employee, from where you were, to now being an entrepreneur. How's life different today, sir?
Life is a little bit different, but in the sense, decision makings are very key. When you are working, you are being directed by your director, and you follow the instructions, and you have ownership, you have accountability. But I think that is not too much. But when you come to an entrepreneur, then your decisions are very, very important. And your decisions are important to the organization and people who are working with you. So it is a big responsibility on your shoulders. And you need to, I always think twice before I take the call. So that's how my responsibilities and accountabilities has grown up. So that's a very important thing from an employee to an entrepreneur.
Because as an employee, you don't have to make a lot of decisions. I mean, you do.
Exactly.
But it doesn't have too many consequences, because I'm sure there is a hierarchy that goes above an employee.
Exactly. Yeah, people are there to take care of you.
Yeah, exactly. Like your manager, your deputy manager, CFO, whatever it is. But I think at the director level, that's the uppermost hierarchy somebody can be sitting at, and your decision will either, make it or break it. That's how it is. So that's why the entrepreneurs, get all the recognition and all the capital, right? So like you said, just wanted to come back to something with like what you said, Mr. Srinivasan, where you said that your manager was the one who always pushed you into sales, right?
Exactly.
And that is something that a lot of sales people go through when they initially join, because relations, like you said, Mr. Shah, who was your manager or your boss at that time.
Yeah, boss.
He was the one who actually pushed you and built a relation that no, it's okay. Whatever happens, I'm there. That relation, because sales is everything, relation building. Like I've said previously also on some podcasts, because if you don't have the relations with some person, there's no chance that you'll eventually have them convinced to buy something from you. So are you taking any specific steps, Mr. Srinivasan, in the sales to maintain relationship with your clients? This is what I do, so that I can be in constant touch with them or maintain this relation.
Mhm. Nowadays, I have limited need to do that because we have people, but still I have some pet customers.
Hmm.
Or some customers, for them I am pet. When they are, sales is all about, as you rightly said, is building relationships.
Yes.
And I have good relationship with many customers. Even
Hmm.
today, they call me whenever they need. They don't call our managers or employees. They directly call me because they know me. I'm accessible to them. And I also interact with them and solve their problems as far as possible,
Hmm.
and maintain relationship with them, like wishing for a birthday or anniversary, or
Hmm.
talk to them whenever I'm free, or go and meet them. When I go to Goa, I meet the customer. When I go somewhere, then try to meet those pet customers,
Right.
because time is limited. So I
Yes,
have
very.
a choice to whom to meet, and they also, when they are need, anybody can call me. I'm always accessible to them.
Right. That's one way
So
of relationship
yeah,
building,
yeah.
and I'm sure it's a little different at your level and it's a little different at my level. Let's be very
Exactly,
honest.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure.
Because a director will have something else when he's thinking about relation building, and an employee should
Exactly,
have a different path. Oh,
exactly, exactly.
right. So, like even today,
So,
when I try and build relationship with my clients,
exactly.
it's a little more difficult for me because people don't see me as the director of the company, because I'm sure it comes off as an employee still now. I
I,
hope it comes off.
I agree. See, when I was like you, or
Hmm.
when I was going to the field very often, I do had challenges to meet customers,
Hmm.
because the thing, as you said, the things have a lot of change now. In
Hmm.
those days, without appointment, we can go to the customer, we can talk to
Yes.
them. Nowadays, it is not so.
Not
So in those
possible.
days, we go and try to meet a customer. Say, for example, in the morning, I went to Lupin and tried to meet the QC manager, and he's not available. So then I just call over the intercom and tell him, sir, today evening I'll find time to meet you since you are busy now. So at around 5:30, 5:45, give a call to him and
Just
try
directly.
to meet him. Yeah, exactly. With a pre-appointment, right? You tell him
Yeah.
that in the evening, if you're free, then we can meet for 5-10 minutes.
Yes.
Nothing wrong in that. Because I'm anywhere going to spend my time in the hotel. Instead of that, why
Yeah.
not meet the customer? So
Absolutely.
building relationship comes only by direct meeting. But
Yes.
now the things have changed a lot.
Very much.
But I still believe that direct meetings are the one that gives much impact on a customer.
Yes, I agree 100%. And that is why if I have any meetings, I try to fix physical meetings, because no matter how much,
Right.
Google Meet or Zoom helps us, I think in the end, it's the physical meet. When you get to know the
Exactly.
person, you can understand their body language, what they're interested in,
Exactly.
what they're, you know,
Exactly.
a lot of factors that come in.
True.
So
True.
like you
True.
said, you started in the 1990s, which is almost
Yeah.
like 30, 35 years ago now, right?
Right.
And today, 2022, you're the director. So I'm sure starting in sales back then and coming here must have been a
Yeah.
hell of a journey. Just wanted to
Yeah. Yeah.
ask you, because you've been there consistently, Mr. Srinivasan. I want to
Hmm.
ask you, what changes have you specifically observed in these past 30 years? The
Uh,
sales industry,
yeah.
rather.
Yeah. A lot of changes, because we are a witness to the digital revolution that happened in our country.
Mhm.
Like previously, people used to welcome us when we go to the customer's place,
Hmm.
and there was no need of taking much appointments.
Hmm.
Then slowly, when the digital revolution started,
Hmm.
in those days, people didn't have access of Google or anything,
Right.
so they were dependent on the sales guys. So whenever we go, they used to invite us, give us a cup of coffee, have lunch with them, spend time with them, and show them the new technologies which are available. So
Which
they
were
are
available.
interested. We are also interested. Since the digital revolution started, everything is accessible over the internet. So they
Hmm.
are not much dependent on the sales guy. Now,
Yep.
if a person goes for a call, the customer already knows what is your product, what are the pros and cons, what is your competitor's product, what are their pros and cons. Everything is in the fingertips. So they are well versed and ready with the things. So this is a big challenge nowadays. So the salesperson has to have a good rapport with the customers, as well as technically, as far as our fields are concerned, the
Hmm.
technicality plays, say, 70% of your sales job.
Hmm.
Because sales industry as a whole, a lot of variants are there,
Hmm.
like selling from a credit card, or selling from a vacation, or selling for a housing, or selling for a big property. project or selling for this kind of instrument that we sell or selling big projects, there are different applications are there. And the sales is always different in different scenario. But at the end of the day, you are going to deal with the person. So the human relationship is very, very important. And your ability as a technical skill to convince and meet their expectations are the very important things, I feel.
How you can surprise them, like you said, because of Google and everything. Now, no matter what I'm trying to pitch to anybody, they'll know, this is what he's coming for. This is his competitor. This is his pricing. This is his pricing. Now you come and surprise me in the best way you can and show me what you can do. Then I'll give you business.
Exactly.
And I still believe that does not happen over a Zoom call. That only happens with personal meeting. Most of the times, rather.
Yeah. Sure.
Like digital
because see, the personal feeling is, I'll tell you the key that I have learned is not only your product. The customer should feel that Srini is there whenever I call him. Srini is there to support me. I may have a good, nice Mercedes car, but if I don't have a proper service, then it's of no use, right? You may buy a good Apple phone, believing that Apple is a good company, the phone is excellent, everything is good. But if you don't know to operate and you don't have anybody to help you, then it is waste. So you become frustrated. So at the end of the day, the personal meetings give you a rapport that, for example, Subhankar is there for me. Ravindra is there for me at whenever I call him. So that sense comes only by physical interaction.
Yes.
And even though Apple to Apple, two competitors are at the same table, and if one visits them and convinces them that I am at your phone call away, or I am just available to you 24/7, then the customer always feels that I should go with him.
Yes, I agree. I'll tell you what, Mr. Srinivasan, why I agree on your point, and because this is a personal example, because I have this client, right, who I used to pitch, and I used to call him a lot, right? And he never used to give me a physical meeting. He was kind of that adamant person who doesn't give in very easily, right? And eventually he said, okay, you know what? You've been trying for so many months, come down. And then I went there, and then he told me whatever product I was pitching him, there was a rival company who was pitching him as well. Right? We were both pitching to that same client at the same time. But in the end, the business mostly went to us only because I used to call him every day. I used to go down to meet him. I used to take the physical effort to go and meet him and convince him, because it's not the features or the product, it's the person.
Exactly.
When you get comfortable with the person, they somehow build this trust in you. Yes, this person came down for me, made sure my time was valuable.
Right.
Let me just try and give it business.
That's
how it works. Sure. But at that point comes another point. I'm sure you will agree, Mr. Srinivasan. No matter how many physical meetings, Google meetings, or whatever you do, failure is a big part of sales. And I'm sure even as a director or as an employee, you sometimes have to face this situation.
Exactly. True.
How would you say, Mr. Srinivasan, how should someone handle these disappointments? Because I'm sure they hit like a bang, out of the face, across the face.
Exactly. Failure is, as being said by many people, is a part of your success. So it's bound to happen. Without failure, you won't learn a lot, I would say. Because without failing, if everything comes the way that you want, then you may not be a master. It is, the fluke, what do you call in language? But failure gives you an opportunity to analyze, have you done enough? Have you done enough compared to what you should have done it? And I believe that failure analysis is very, very important, wherein you have to analyze really whatever resources that you had, have you applied those things? Have you utilized those things? Have you met the customer's requirements? And after analysis, you might come with certain points. And then you also need to validate those points with your team or with some mentor. Because what happens, sometimes we assume and presume, oh, this is what has happened. This is what has happened. So you need to really validate those points with the team as well as, because sales is not just one person's job in our area, because you need
Yeah.
a service support, you need many people. So you
Mm.
need to validate if where it has gone wrong. And once you understand, you could have done better like this, then you learn from that.
Yeah.
And in the next time you don't fail. And you rightly said the thing that you said, same thing happened with me also. I had to wait for a whole day in Willy Parle, in one hotel reception, right from the morning 10 o'clock to afternoon 3 o'clock, till the customer comes back to the hotel. Because I call it as a determination, and I appreciate that, because you kept calling the customer without irritating them. Many times customer get irritated. So you need to learn the tricks, how to do that. So I told the customer, he was a ONGC customer. He was staying in a hotel in Willy Parle. And right from the morning, he was not available.
Mm.
Because once I stepped in, he bypassed and went.
Mm.
So I
Yes.
know that he bypassed and went. And then
Okay.
when I called him, he said, I am out of the hotel. It will take time for me to come at 2 o'clock. So I
Okay.
said, no problem, sir. मैं चाय पी के आता हूँ. I'll wait for the whole day. But I want to meet you. You
No
are
matter
most
what.
valuable too. You are most valuable for me.
Yes,
That
yes.
determination is very, very important.
Yes.
And for a salesperson, you have only one thing to do is sales.
Hmm.
You don't have any other objective. So you have a lot of time, you have energy, you should have determination. That's very, very important. And I waited up to 3 o'clock. And when he came in, then he gave me 5 minutes time, and I was able to convince him. At the end, we got the order. So this kind of achievements, this really gives us a sense of happiness.
Yeah.
So determination is very important.
But that is amazing, Srinivasan sir. You waited for
Yeah,
about 6, 7 hours, and then he gave
exactly.
you 5 minutes to convince.
Yeah. And another thing is, you need a good mentor or a boss. This also
Yeah.
I feel, because the company by name Sandoz Limited.
Yeah.
There we lost an order
Hmm.
to our competitor. The order was kept ready in front of me because
Hmm.
of pricing.
Hmm.
Our price was little higher compared to our competitor.
Yeah.
And there also I couldn't do anything.
Hmm.
But then I told my boss. My boss said, okay, fine, yaar, abhi kya karega?
Hmm.
We cannot reach their price, so leave it. We can't do anything. But
Hmm.
then I was not able to digest that while I was working in that company.
Hmm.
I said, no, sir, I should try something else.
Hmm.
Then I waited. Then I talked to the end user, who is a decision maker. So
Hmm.
he said, both are acceptable to us.
Hmm.
Both the products are acceptable to us. Now it is only based on the commercial ones that they take a call. And
Hmm.
since your price is high, you cannot come down. So we are giving it to our competitors. Then I said, sir, your parent company, Sharing Plow, that is in the US, they are all using our product, our same machines. Then he said, maybe true, but then I will have to check with them. I said, why did Sharing Plow in the US bought our machine in spite of having your competitor's instrument? See, initially you buy a OnePlus phone, then you realize the importance of Apple, and then you buy an Apple phone. That doesn't mean that OnePlus is bad and Apple this. It's a better version, right?
Yeah.
So for the new requirement, we have bought an Apple. The same way I told them, I convinced them. And then he said, then you need to meet one Dr. Bapat in Kolshet, Thane. Then I went there, I met him, I demonstrated the difference in the technology. And he was a very nice person. So he inquired with the US, among the both of them, which one is better. And they told that this G1 is good. And then they canceled that order and they gave me the order.
That is amazing. So Srinivasan, I have to say one thing, that motivation, determination, perseverance, it has to come from within in sales, right? And like I said, you waited in that lobby, you traveled so far just to get that one deal. Now I have to ask you, because motivation from you, sir, I'm feeling so. So what exactly motivates you to do so much? Like, I just wanted to ask.
You have. I have a motivation in this sense. I am committed. I believe in commitment in the relationship, whether it is an employee-employer relationship, or whether it is a friends, or whether it is your relatives. You have to be committed to what you agree to in life. Whatever you are committed. If I'm committed to bring revenue to my company, I must do it. If I'm committed, means I should try out the best that I can. Even after 4:30, 5 o'clock, if I find a company nearby, and I'm so tired, but still I have a time. So I must go and attack that company and find out, is there an opportunity there for me? Because you have to cash in on the opportunities that you get. In
Yeah.
life, the determination, perseverance, and then commitment. This is
Yeah.
very important in life if you really want to scale high.
Determination, perseverance, and commitment. I'll make sure I
Yeah.
follow that whenever I have a scale in my funnel from now.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, I think I'll come to the last one or two questions, Mr.
Sure,
Srinivasan,
sure.
which is holding your experience is something I, hold in a high regard. So, any tips or advice for the youngsters like me who just come into the sales industry?
Thank you. But as I already told you that commitment is something very much needed. And we should never look that we are too small and we cannot do. Many times, as you said, failures and somebody taunting you or somebody blasting you that you are not good for nothing like that. Such things should be taken lightly and you should believe in yourself. Like I always say a phrase, like, to my people, it is not the size of the dog. It is the size of the fight in the dog that matters. You got my point?
Yeah.
So it is not the size of the organization. It is the size of the fight in the organization that makes you successful. So the same thing I always believe in and implement it in our life. That even though you fail, you have a lot of opportunities. You can still try it out. Even if I have few customers that I have lost, but still I maintain good relationship even today with them. Because the classical example is Reliance Life Science, where we lost to 16 orders to our competitors. But even after losing, we were persistent to talk to them and find out how the competitor's instrument is working. Over a period of, say, 2-3 months down the line, they said, why don't you come and give again a parallel demonstration? We find some issues. So because of that one thing, we have won back 10 more orders from them. They canceled so it's a big achievement, what I feel. So even if you lose an order, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, building relationships. See, we are born with the expiry date, every one of us. So we have a limited time, but building relationship is all sales is about, I believe. So failure and success is a part of the game. That's a different story, but you need to maintain and keep the relations, which gives you sense of pride, sense of happiness. I know this guy. That's more important for me.
That is amazing. One last thing, like you said, everybody comes with an expiry date and we don't know when it is, right? So I wanted to ask you, because of how you are, sir, you're so motivated and all this aura, what does Srinivasan sir look like on a vacation?
I believe in the saying that health is wealth. So I'm a yellow belt in karate and love doing some workouts. So I often take my vacations out, going to the nature and traveling. And since my job is a traveling job, I love traveling. So
Yes.
I play kabaddi, I play football. These are some things I really love it.
Wow, you're not just a director, you're probably everything I imagined to be now.
Yeah, that gives you a sense of happiness.
Yes, definitely.
When you run and take a good breathe, and when you love the nature or when you play with your buddies, so it's really happy.
Wow,
It is
sir.
not just workaholic. You have to have a life, work-life balance.
Yes. Wow, sir, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Mr.
Yeah.
Srinivasan, for being a part of Sales Talk today with HCRM.
Thank you.
We hope you had an amazing time. And I'm sure our audience also had a great learning experience from Mr. Srinivasan. Yeah. But
Thank you.
however, I think that's it for today. If you have any questions for us, drop them in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Please make sure you're liking this video on Sales Talk. Don't forget to subscribe to HCRM and press the bell icon to never miss any other update. Thank you. Have a good day,
Thank
sir.
you.
Bye-bye.